This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tonight as we welcome in Clay Henry. That over-under, I know some of your friends were ticked off and some of them were happy how that game played out last night.
Yeah, I had a couple of guys that I guess they had the under, and they think they've won. And I don't know how much money, because I don't bet, but that fouls. I mean, usually an official won't call, one at that point in the game. The game's over inside of a second. But I think Black fouled him about 4 times. I think Black wanted to foul out. I mean, I think he wanted to do that. And reaching and slapping at the ball and getting his arm. And they called it, and they made 2 free throws. And I had one guy that obviously had it the over, and he said, "This is a great opportunity to win some money. I want this guy to make them." He's an Arkansas fan. Would have much rather had an Arkansas guy hit a shot at the buzzer or whatever. But it does make for an interesting conclusion of an otherwise uninteresting finish.
Yeah, that's
It will be on Scott Van Pelt's Monday night. They do the bad beats. It will be there.
Speaking of ESPN, Clay, I know that you did not go last night, correct?
No, I was at home.
Okay. What was the listening like with Jimmy Dykes and Jay Billis? I think Ravage either got sick or couldn't make it. What was that like?
No, I'll tell you what happened. So FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, lost their ability to track planes yesterday for many hours in certain areas. And so there were airports shut down, and Ravage couldn't get out of his airport. The whole airport was shut down. And so Jimmy did get out. He was coming home from Kentucky and had an early, I think a 6 a.m. flight out of Lexington. There's a 6 a.m., I think. And so he was in the air before that happened. So he did get home, and they had to ask him to do the play-by-play because Carl, he was grounded. And, boy, it was a mess all over the eastern, maybe further than that. But it was the broadcast was just fine. I mean, there was no noticeable difference. Those are both pros. They shared it pretty good. I think that there was good rapport between the two of them. Jimmy invited Jay Billis to come play with him in the Springdale Country Club member guest towards the end of the broadcast. I think Jay said yes.
Oh, cool.
And then there was a point where Jimmy, because Carl wouldn't have known to do this, had a catfish hole, hush puppies and fried catfish for Jay. And it was at the point where I think Tony Green came over to explain that double technical. And so Jimmy just offered the plate to Tony. And of course, he didn't take any catfish or any hush puppies. But there was, they talked about Fayetteville restaurants. And Jay went to Hugo's the night before. And I think, they were going to get out early enough to probably get to Herman's last night. So that it went fine. They questioned, some of the calls. They thought that some were fouls, and then they thought some weren't fouls. In other words, they thought some plays that weren't called should have been called. So they had some critique on the officiating. I think that y'all had that it was a little bit, probably uneven would be the right way to describe it.
I'd say second half. So I was looking at first half. Bediako picked up his third foul with 2:43 left in the first half, and he picked up his fourth with about 17. Clowney picked up his third with about 2:08 left in the first. So Arkansas did what they wanted to do. They got the two Alabama big guys in foul trouble, but it was really Mark Sears that kind of took over that game last night. Quinterly's hurt you before. He really was a non-factor outside that double technical skirmish that him and Anthony Black had, but Clay, it was really Mark Sears and then, again, Brandon Miller in that second half and really that 5-minute stretch that ripped your heart out last night.
Yeah, they accomplished goal number one for about, I'd say 30 minutes, which is put the clamps on Brandon Miller. And Devo and Council, I think they took turns maybe. But they also didn't have an extra guard to defend Sears, and they got caught with a big man on him an awful lot, and that's where they really got punished. And I think it just, it comes down to shooting. And you can look at the free throw differential, and, Arkansas made more field goals than Alabama, but they were 2 for 10 on threes, and Alabama was 9 for 20. And you can't have that kind of a disparity. I mean, the threes are obviously worth more points. You make 7 more threes. That's 21 points you got to overcome somehow, and they couldn't do it with the way they were playing. They had an open three anytime they wanted it. I mean, from 3 or 4 positions, they had an open three. They didn't really want to leave Council open. I'm talking about Alabama's defense. But the rest of the guys could take threes and really had time to line them up. But and Alabama didn't get a lot of open threes, but they got enough. And they sure want to take them. I mean, they are, and because of that, they're able to spread the floor and make your defense push beyond the 3-point line, which Arkansas did, and that makes you vulnerable for drive. And 1-on-1 leads to fouls more than 1-on-4.
Yep. Nope, can't disagree with you there. 877-377-6963 is our number that you can call or text this morning. Clay Henry, Ty Richardson, and Brent in Stuttgart. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning, Ty. Good morning, Clay, and good morning, Tommy. Before I get started, Tommy, you got all aquatic activity covered at your playground at your house. Is that correct? Thanks to Burton's Pools and Spas.
Brent, he's not here with us, but I can verify that he does have a Burton Hot Springs hot tub and a Burton's pool in his backyard. The pool, I think, is closed for the winter, but I know from time to time he likes to get in the hot tub in the wintertime.
So the aquatic playground is at Tommy's house in Fort Smith, correct?
Yeah, he's got a big old backyard too. He's got a nice little setup here.
Hey, Ty, I am with you in the north end zone, my man. I am with you in the north end zone. I love it out there. I love it down there.
It's not a bad spot, man. I didn't know about it until my brother told me about it, and I expensed those tickets, so I get lucky, I guess.
So,
I don't really have to pay for them.
They're expensive because I got my bill for them yesterday. They like the only thing I wish they had in the north end zone. I wish they you have to buy your peanuts up at the concession stands. They don't have bags of Parks peanuts, but that's okay.
Well, they just heard it on the Morning Rush. So I guarantee you there'll be peanuts in the north end zone next year.
Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about this basketball game last night. I thoroughly enjoyed Jimmy and Jay Billis on the call. Please, ESPN, let them call another game together because they talk like the common man. You know what I mean? But this team, this young team, once they have something good happen to them, like a victory on the road against Vanderbilt Saturday, they will begin to roll. I really believe that. And can we please just make it to the end of this month and maybe, just maybe, his handlers will let Nick Smith play. Just maybe. I'm hoping that he will be healthy enough to play the last month of the season. And Clay, I had a question for you. Can you tell me exactly? Because it shocked me when they let Dominique Bowman go from the football staff. And
I don't know what the deal is on that. Sorry.
Brent, we appreciate the call. It sounds like Clay doesn't have really any intel on that.
I'll give you a guess that the new defensive coordinator wants to pick his defensive coaches and has got another coach that he wants to hire. And that's generally the way. I mean, Barry Odom had a lot of input on the coaches that he had on defense, and that's kind of the way it goes. And might have been part of the deal to get Travis Williams that he wanted specific coaches.
Could be the case. Let's come back to that basketball game, Clay. We got a text in here from Preston and West Helena talking about the value in the basketball. 50 turnovers is not great at home, and you should probably have less than that. I know that you'd love to keep that in single digits, but I think there were just times last night where guys were afraid to shoot. Like they had open looks, and then they keep over-dribbling or over-passing or whatever, and then get in the lane and get caught up in the air and throw the ball away. What have you seen with this team in conference play when it comes to just how they were playing prior to that?
Well, when you're 20% shooting from three-point, it's probably not the shot that you want to take, and that's a low percentage shot. So they're looking for something better. And to compound that, Alabama's one of the tallest, longest, best teams at blocking shots. So when you get into the lane, you don't want to get those thrown back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you get hesitant. And that's what happened last night. The answer is you got to knock down some threes. It loosens up the defense. But the guys that they have decided are their best defensive options, remember, they gave up 80 last night. So their defense wasn't great. They didn't want to play Joseph Pinion because he looks like they were going to attack him, and they could. They're playing 4 big guys or 3 big guys. Not a lot of options for a guard to play. And Sears is really good. He wasn't going to, or Riley. He's going to have a hard time playing those guys. So that's what you see.
On that, what fans have been asking this morning, we've received a lot of text and calls on this, is like Jalen Graham's a good example. Joseph's a good example. They bring a lot on offense. That was well documented last night. Jalen Graham had 16 points, 8 of 10 in 19 minutes. That's pretty good points per minute that a lot of people will take. Joseph, at least in the Missouri game, looked good, but their defensive inefficiency seemed to be keeping them off the floor through this point in time. Is that something?
You watch Graham, and he made a shot that's worth 2, and then on the other end, he left his man in the corner, who's a dead 3-point, 42% shooter, and he buries a 3, and that ignited the run. So it's it's a fine balance. You are you giving up more than you're scoring, and that's what Musselman is sitting there looking at. There's some coaches that will favor offense for defense. He favors defense for offense, and I'm not going to argue with him. I mean, it's his recipe has been spot on. Without question, they miss Brazil and Smith. Those are 2 guys that could give you defense, they could handle the ball, and they could shoot it. So they haven't replaced that with any guys on the roster, and I don't see anybody on the roster that I think can give you all the things that they did, provide the defense, not give up mismatches. They can guard just about anybody on the floor. I mean, Smith's not going to guard a 5, but he can guard about anybody else. Brazil probably can guard everybody but the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
And you just lost so much. I watched one practice, and it was just clear as blue sky that those were your best 2 players. And you just think, okay, Alabama, you take out Brandon Miller and Noah Clowney, what's their team like? Well, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to have to live with some inadequacies, and you're going to have a hard time against Tennessee and Alabama, but I think the rest of the league they can play with. Got to make free throws on the road. That's what they haven't done, and they can shoot. I listened to Jay Billis on the afternoon show. It was at 2:05, I think, and he said I think they can get by with what they've got. They can shoot better free throws than they have so far.
Mm-hmm. Adjustments. We're kind of talking about that. You're talking about free throws and shooting better. Right now, they're 13th in the league out of 14 teams in free throws.
Yeah, they got to get better.
Vanderbilt's a team that you're facing on Saturday. You go to them. I know they're not great, but still an SEC opponent. You're going to have to play well. Here's Coach on the adjustment, kind of what he's looking for against Vanderbilt.
What we'll do at Vanderbilt, I have no idea right now. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm still trying to solve and search. If there's something there to try to figure out, we're trying.
Now, the adjustment he made for this game, Clay, was he went bigger. And it worked from the rebounding standpoint. I mean, they knotted up against the biggest front court they'll play all season, 37 apiece in rebounds with Mekhi Mitchell, Mikal Mitchell, Anthony Black, Devontae Davis, and also Jordan Walsh. There's just some other areas that they got beat on. Do you anticipate them having the same? I know Vandy's not as big, but do you think they go big again against Vandy and Nashville?
No, I think they'll probably look to put four guys that can guard the basketball and force turnover. They lost the turnover battle. They won the rebound. So that's the trade-off. It's always about possessions. It's always about who gets the best shots. Alabama got the best shots for their guys. They, because of their three-point shooting, they got they kept the lane unpacked, so they could drive without help. And they won the turnover battle. So they lost. The rebound was even. They got better shots, and they won the turnover battle. So Arkansas is their deal is they'd like to win both rebounding and the turnover battle, and that's what they'll try to do against Vanderbilt, I think. And they'll go with a quicker lineup. I mean, they're still going to be long, but Vanderbilt's not as long as Alabama, and that was the thing that he tried to offset.
Yeah, to mitigate. And I just want to remind people, listen, I wanted to beat those guys last night as bad as you did. Trust me, I'm there. I love Arkansas football. I love Arkansas baseball, but Arkansas basketball is my pinnacle. I bleed that stuff. But we got to remember that's a top 5 team. That's a team that's beaten, I think, 2 number 1 teams already this season. They're still undefeated on the road, true road games this year. It's not a walk in the park that you had last night. And, I mean, we just got a text in here from on YouTube. I mean, you referenced it with Clowney and Miller. I mean, 2 best players on Arkansas potentially were Nick Smith and Trevin Brazile. What would this team look like last year if you didn't have J.D. Note and Jalen Williams? I mean, that's basically – and luckily, like, the injuries, and Nick's still timetable. We don't know if he's coming back or not, but at least Trevin's injury – and listen, I've torn my ACL. I don't want it to happen, but at least it was early on. It didn't happen like February or January. Like, you've had a little bit of time to adjust before postseason, and then kind of we'll see where Nick – but, yeah, it's kind of like football, Clay. You just got bit by the injury bug this year. You
did, and it was we saw those guys, and everybody that downloaded the app got to see those games in Europe, and you saw what those 2 guys can do. I went to a practice and saw them, and I mean they're NBA talents. Alabama had NBA talents out there, and Arkansas might have some, that were on the floor. But it's a tough deal for the coach right now, and he's going to keep pushing buttons. We know he will. He probably will figure it out. It would be, awesome if they get Nick Smith back. I think it would be a major, major lift for the team and for the fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if he came back, I think fans would be rejuvenated. Won't know until February, most likely.
And I think he wants to come back, from everything I'm told.
I do too. All right, that's going to do it for at least a little basketball. We'll come back, talk some more football with Clay Henry again here. And speaking of Razorback basketball, this is a place that Tommy and I frequent, that a lot of people, not just in the River Valley, but outside frequent. It's Joe's Grill and Cantina. Why I bring up Razorback basketball is because during every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game, half-price apps and taps. That's beers and food. Most places you go to, it's just like, oh, there's a drink special. Oh, there's just a food special. No. Joe's Grill and Cantina has a food and drink special during every Razorback basketball game. Today's special is the $8 taco burger with the side and a Bang Bang barbecue sandwich. Tomorrow's special is the fajitas, and then Saturday they have tacos on special as well. That's Joe's Grill and Cantina next to Harps in Fort Smith. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk more with Clay, get some more of your calls and text here. It's a recruiting Thursday here on the Morning Rush. We'll also talk a little bit more about who Arkansas's brought in the transfer portal. That's next.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Them Hogs, man, hey, them Hogs can't do no wrong, fella.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
I am not who you say I am.
I'm a pastor.
I am a caregiver.
I am a father.
I am a friend.
I'm a doctor.
Chances are someone you know and love is struggling with substance use disorder, but recovery is possible. Help starts when we stop stigma, view each other with compassion, and reach out for help. Call 1-800-622-HELP to get started. This message sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and supported by grant number 2018-AR-BX-KO85 awarded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard. That's Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system that's guaranteed to never ever clog that's on the market. And how important is that? If you have old regular gutters clogged with muck and mud and shingle grit, add some of this rainwater, toss in freezing temperatures, and now you got a disaster on your hands. That frozen concoction that's just hanging on could cost you big bucks if it rips away from your roof. Stop the insanity. Get Leaf Guard Gutters and rest easy. Act now and save your hard-earned money by taking advantage of the winter savings sale. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard gutter system. New orders only. Some restrictions may apply. This sale does not include material costs, so make sure you ask a sales associate for all the deets on that and the 18 months no interest financing, as well as senior and military discounts. The winter savings sale at Leaf Guard of Arkansas. Call them now at 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com.
Crabtree RV Center, leading the River Valley in sales and service for over 70 years. Founded in 1950, Crabtree RV Center has grown into one of the largest family-owned and operated RV dealerships in northwest Arkansas. Located on 17 acres, including a 26,000 square foot indoor showroom. Crabtree RV Center has everything you need, all in one convenient location. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, Arkansas, making your family's dreams come true.
From routine tree care to timber harvesting, Husqvarna chainsaws set the standard in outdoor power equipment, and they're trusted by professionals around the world. Featuring air injection, low vibration handles, and powerful X-Torque engines, Husqvarna chainsaws deliver the performance, comfort, and precision cutting you need to get the job done quickly and safely. For every job in any environment, your Husqvarna dealer has a professional series chainsaw that works as hard as you do.
Visit Johnson County's Farmers Hardware at 515 West Sevier Street in Clarksville.
Military families often sacrifice precious time away from loved ones while serving our country. And for those with children, the separation can be especially difficult.
We were worried that with him leaving, that she would lose those connections with her dad.
Some of life's best moments happen between parents, children, and the pages of a good book. United Through Reading provides that connection.
You can watch your mom or dad read a book to you, and it almost feels like they're really there.
We ensure they remain a consistent, meaningful part of their children's lives, no matter the distance.
Just seeing Jacob recognize Daddy again after a long time just melted my heart.
And now, as we're facing greater isolation from our loved ones, United Through Reading is also available to veterans. Learn more about United Through Reading and download our free secure app at unitedthroughreading.org.
Give Arrigo's a shot at your business and they will make you happy, happy, happy. Arrigo's is Arkansas's largest small gun store and they will not be undersold. That's right, they will beat all other firearm prices in the state. Arrigo's staff is knowledgeable and are firearm enthusiasts with over 50 years of experience. Not like those of the big box store, they will help you select the firearm that is perfect for you. They have discounts for veterans and law enforcement and also have gift cards. They have all the ammo you are ever going to need. Check out their website at arrigosguns.com. Arrigo's Guns is located across from the airport in Hot Springs.
Is your furniture, appliances, or electronics in need of an upgrade? Is your budget a little tight? Not to worry, Dawn's Easy Pay has you covered. They have everything you need for home, furniture, appliances, electronics, and much more. Dawn's offers 120-day same-as-cash, low weekly or monthly rent-to-own payments. At Dawn's Easy Pay, you don't need a credit check. Come see us in one of our 7 showrooms in Mena, Waldron, DeQueen, Boonville, Podo, Idabel, or Broken Bow. One of our knowledgeable employees will take time to care for you.
NFL Wildcard Weekend is here. That's right, it has arrived. And the easiest way to get into the playoffs is with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers, join today to get started with $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code PLAY. So don't miss out. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia, and West Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming and Kansas or visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 96.3.
He throws it down with one hand. Pinion with the lob, Graham with a dunk. That's the exclamation point.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas continues.
All right, more of your calls and texts coming up here on the Morning Rush. 877-377-6963. Clay Henry alongside me, Ty Richardson, rolling along here on ESPN Arkansas. Clay, in this loss last night, 84-69, there's a couple stats that stand out. The points off turnovers, Alabama won 24-7. We've talked about the 3-point percentage, but also the fast break points, 24-4. And I've noticed this the last couple of games. I know last night, Muss took Anthony Black off the ball, good chunk. Devo was handling a good chunk of what made more of the time that AB has it. I know AB was in foul trouble, but does Anthony Black look tired to you?
I don't know that tired is the right way. I think there are teams that have scouted him and maybe better defended. Now, he might be beat up. He's taken a lot of abuse. I thought Auburn hammered him a lot of times. You know, it's when you go in there in traffic and force it up a little bit, sometimes he gets the call, sometimes he doesn't, and you can kind of get beat down a little bit. And you got to remember he's a freshman, but he didn't look tired to me last night because he was on the bench a good part of the time.
Yeah, Brandon says he looks frustrated, and I know there's been
That's
points
different than tired. Yes.
Yeah. He ends up fouling out last night. You spoke to it in the last segment, how it looked like he was trying to pick up that fifth and final foul. I don't know if he was trying to talk to the ref or whatever the case may be, but I mean, is it frustrating because of his shooting woes? Is it frustrating because he doesn't feel like he's getting the calls? Do you feel that same way Brandon does?
Well, he was frustrated that he didn't get the calls last night. It was clear that he was. I mean, he looked like that there were maybe 3 or 4 plays that they could. Now, I will say this. There are times when good referees think that you have leaned in and made the contact and they're not going to give you the call. And it's especially a young player. And I think if you go back and watch Ronnie Brewer as a true freshman, and he would penetrate and go to the basket. I'm talking about Ronnie Brewer Jr. Mm-hmm. And he'd go up and get hit and get knocked around a little bit, didn't get the calls. And as he played longer, the referees respected his game more. It's kind of like a rookie pitcher. He's not getting the black, or he's not getting that pitch 2 inches off the plate. And then you watch Glavin or Maddox, and they get that call, because they've earned the respect. They've got the reputation, and they protect him a little bit. And he's not getting that right now.
You want to hear something crazy, Clay? Santa Rosa, where we went last year, one of my buddies whose parents own a beach house there is right next to Greg Maddox. He has a house right next to that. That's funny you ended up mentioning him.
Well, he's an all-timer.
He's a great pitcher. I know that he's one. I'm by no means a Phil Elson when it comes to baseball history, but I do know that name, and that is one of the best pitchers in the history of the game. All right, back into basketball, Clay. Budweiser Arena last night. it wasn't the best crowd they've ever had. There were still some seats in lower and upper bowl that were empty. But I'm going to be honest, man. Graham hits that little jump hook over Bediako, who didn't want to pick up that fifth foul. And I thought the tide was going to change. But then you saw Clowney and Miller just hit a barrage of threes. Devo goes under the screen twice when he should have gone over the top like they were talking about. And it's just the difference between having 2 first-rounders on the floor compared to your 2 first-rounders that are injured right now.
Yeah, they had a little spurt, and that's what great teams do. You know, Arkansas really didn't get that big spurt. Maybe just before halftime they did, but you know, they you need a little cushion when Alabama hits that little 3-point barrage. But it's the best team won, and you got to improve between now and in March, and that's the standard right now. What Tennessee and Alabama are doing, Arkansas has to lift their play, whether it's with the guys they got or get Nick Smith back. I do know this: Eric Musselman is going to keep tinkering. He's going to keep pushing buttons, and they're going to work on stuff. And I thought they did some really good things and made it tough on Brandon Miller, who is a great talent. The good news on him is you'll never see him again in Bud Walton.
I like that approach. I'm not going to lie. Tommy and I were discussing earlier in hour number 1. We're a little surprised that they didn't zone more. And I know Nate Oates, as was Bruce Pearl, is a man-to-man defense guy. But, I mean, there were times that Arkansas was really passing the ball around in that man-to-man defense. That was kind of peculiar to me. I think you'll see, maybe I'm wrong about Jerry Stackhouse and the Commodores, but I think you –
Ty, sometimes you play man-to-man, but you don't. And that was as soft a man-to-man as you'll ever see. And they did not take their big guys out of the paint. If you want to shoot threes, you could shoot them. They didn't care.
Yeah, they were sagging off.
And yeah, they're playing 2-man to the ball. And when you say, well, there's a man on him, well, there's another man sagging. And there might have been 2 guys sagging. And I know Eddie Sutton's defense, they used to call it playing a man and a half to the ball. Whoever's got him, and then there's the closest one is ready to go help.
Yeah.
And they were ready to help on drivers. And so it was man-to-man, but it was something that was really soft.
Yeah, they are definitely letting Arkansas shoot last night. Unfortunately, the Razorbacks couldn't hit some open shots. Now, while I'm disappointed the Razorbacks lost last night, I'm happy that I get a chance to go to CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers later on today. I meet my buddy Joey Viviano over at United Roofing and Waterproofing. We're going to sit down and have a great meal. I'm telling you, that brown sugar cinnamon shake is the best that I've ever had. But I'm going to get a burger, I'm going to get some fries, and I'm definitely going to get that fry sauce. 2 locations in Russellville and Fayetteville. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And let me tell you, Keith and his team, they do them the right way.
Howard Richardson in studio like a seasoned vet this morning.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe. And football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, well, go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 3.03% APY on a 7-month CD or 3.55% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Rex Hamill here with Hamill Plywood. For the past 7 years, we've been offering our customers the best prices on plywood, flooring, and other building materials. Now we're excited to announce our newest item available, WearDeck Decking. WearDeck is a composite decking material made right here in the USA. It is completely waterproof, has a heat shield coating, splinter-free, and includes a lifetime residential warranty. This will be the last deck board you will ever need. So come by and see us on Rock Creek Road or give us a call at 870-279-3133.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Heather Powell, right here in Arkadelphia, can switch you over so you can start saving today. Heather and her team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Heather Powell, it's easy to switch and save. Just give her a call when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Quality tells, quality sells. Close your eyes and imagine the smell of fresh smoked meats. That's the atmosphere at Weldon's Meat Market. When looking for fresh cut-to-order meats, look no further. Weldon's is a full-service meat market with all your game day meats. Weldon's has cold smoked ribeyes, and they also have fresh fish on Wednesdays. You can order a meat and cheese tray for your watch party. Call-in orders are appreciated but not required. Weldon's Meat Market is located on Central Avenue in Hot Springs. Stop by or call today.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
The John Plyler Home Center in Glenwood invites you to downtown Glenwood for savings, family service, and business done the right way. The Plyler family started serving the area over 70 years ago and has grown into a full-line home center, including appliances, tools, paint, lumber, hardware, electrical, plumbing, housewares, lawn and garden, and more. From the small weekend do-it-yourself job to the large residential or commercial building project, find everything you need at the John Plyler Home Center in Glenwood. Online at johnplylerhomecenter.com.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 96.3. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
So Arkansas was not the only SEC team that competed on the hardwood last night. Mississippi State went on the road to Athens and lost to Mike White's Georgia Bulldogs 58-50. Missouri tried to beat Texas A&M in College Station, came up short. Clay, they lose 82-64. So the home teams, with the exception of Arkansas, won out last night.
Yeah, that's usually the way it goes. Go on the road and steal one every once in a while and try to hold serve. That's one loss at home. they can win the rest at home and steal a couple on the road, they'll still get in the CA tournament and have probably a decent seed.
Yeah, Arkansas's NCAA tournaments, I think the last 2 years, and I know Muss was very, very vocal about this is more difficult than it's going to be the last 2 years, but I think how they've adjusted the last 2 years will give you hope that they can still some way make postseason. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but you got to start picking it up at some point to get back on track. Clay, we're a while out from SEC football, but I do want your reaction. National championship game on Monday night. Georgia just dogs TCU in a form of fashion we've never seen before in the national championship game. You got Saban on set next to Pollock, and Pollock saying that Georgia's taking over college football, and Saban, is just fuming inside. What did you make of Monday night, and how far are teams behind the Bulldogs right now?
Yeah, the good news for Georgia is that I don't think the East is going to be terrific next year. Tennessee's, they've got Joe Milton. I don't think he's Hendon Hooker. He's probably okay. He's got a good arm, but I don't think he's near the dynamic passer that they've had at Tennessee. So who's going to stop Georgia in the East? Probably not anybody. So they're going to be there. The tough part for Alabama is the West, I think, is better than the East. LSU, I think, is going to be pretty good. Ole Miss probably decent. Arkansas probably decent. Georgia's still got to get by Alabama, and I think Alabama will have at least as good a team as Georgia next year. Might be better. They're both replacing quarterbacks. That's the flip side. Arkansas's got their quarterback, and I think that they're going to have a good season next year. I mean, I'm not saying 9, 10 wins. I don't know. There's still so much to play out. How many more guys are going to get in the portal? Do they get some after spring practice? They probably will. Where Arkansas fits, and that might be your next question, is depending on how they do in reloading at safety and at offensive tackle. And I'm talking about right tackle and left tackle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got safety-wise, and you bring up the transfer portal. Walcott out of Baylor. I think that's the only safety that they got to this point, if I remember that right. But or second, and then you got another secondary player, Lorando Johnson. But they still got to add some pieces. Clay, you're probably bringing up the SEC-wise. I think what Chuck always says is like, hey, just wait and see till after the portal closes, and not just the first time, which is what's today, the 12th. It closes the first time around the 18th, but after spring ball, and then you
Correct.
can make a more and I say accurate assessment, but you always like to bring up, which is 100% valid. You never know what happens during the course of injuries during spring ball and fall ball. And it's really like right till the season is when you can actually make an accurate prediction of what a football team might be.
Yeah, and they're going to most of their class that they signed in December is about to enroll, and they'll have those guys. And they signed a lot of defensive backs, and some of those guys are going to be plugged in, are really talents that can play safety. And but I like a lot of the pieces to this team. You got quarterback, running back, and I think there's some young receivers that I think are going to come on. I think we saw yesterday that Isaiah Satania will concentrate on football. He's not going to be full-time track like some people suspected. That will give him a chance to earn a spot, which I think is what his primary goal is if he's on football scholarships, to earn a starting spot. Wide receiver. You still got Jaden Wilson, Bryce Stevens, and I think that they will be okay at wide receiver. The two guys they're getting from the portal, from Tesla from Hillsdale, is that
Hillsdale
correct?
College, and
then
way up in Michigan.
Got another guy from Texas A&M Commerce. You tell me where that is, Ty. I'm testing your geography.
Isn't that in Corpus Christi?
No, Commerce is just west of Texarkana. It's on.
Okay.
So I think it's on I-30.
Okay.
You got Mount Pleasant, Commerce, and it might be just a little bit north. It's kind of, headed due north up towards, eastern Oklahoma.
Okay. I had a couple friends that, when you said Texarkana, I was thinking Pleasant Grove where Landon Jackson went. I had a few friends that went there as well, but I think it's I was with Commerce. I knew it was somewhere, obviously in Texas A&M, but couldn't remember if it was Corpus or not. That is going to do it for your SEC update. It is brought to you by Ashley Air. Hey, when you need a plumber, and we've needed one here where I'm at right now at the station, we called Ashley Air because they're they're the name that you know and trust. They're the same great people that take care of your heating and cooling. They can do all of your plumbing needs. And get this, they got a discount for you. $50 off any plumbing repair, or get $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. You got clogged drains? We all got clogged drains. Ashley Air is the one to call. Call Ashley Air right now. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service today. That's ashley.air.com, proud sponsor of Razorback Athletics. So as we round out this recruiting Thursday, Clay, I want to come back to what we saw again in Bud Walton Arena last night. That's what everyone wants to talk about. Top 15 matchup. Hadn't had it since 95. The last time you played against a top 15 team, or at least when you were a top 15 team, you won against Kentucky. Last night, like I said earlier, I thought it was going to go your way. But they have the difficulty, as you mentioned, and Tommy, I think, brought this up as well, is when you're trading 2 for 3s. Like, you're making layups, you're making jump shots, you're getting the foul line, knocking down 2 free throws. But, Clay, you can't shoot under 20% in the league and expect to win many ball games when it comes to the three-point line.
No, that's you're going against a 40% shooting team from threes, and they have all the weapons. Probably the player of the year in the SEC is Brandon Miller, and you did a good job against him.
Yeah.
But they have other options, and what you gave away in covering him opened up some of those other options, especially from the guard position.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there was some good that happened, and I thought Arkansas brought the intensity and they played hard. And to me, that's the essence of coaching, and I give Eric Musselman a lot of credit. He doesn't want any of that right now. I mean, a win is the only thing he really cares about. But I still think you got the right coach. He's just having to deal with losing his best 2 players, during the crunch time of the SEC season.
Yeah, and you mentioned Miller. So Devo stoned him in the first half. Devo was up in his grill the entire first half, and really for a good chunk of the second half, too. Miller's just a lottery pick, and Devontae's giving up 5 or 6 inches on him. But everyone's mad at Devo for throwing up bricks a lot in the first half, and he couldn't throw in the ocean. But what people didn't appreciate is the fact that you held a lottery pick scoreless in the first half, and that's the difficulty that Muss is having to grapple with right now, is that Devontae, for example, is not a great offensive player, but he's crafty and he gets to the rim, but he's not a great shooter, but he's just a ferocious defender. He's maybe your best defender. And then you compare him to a guy like Pinion, who offensively is gifted shooting the ball, but is not an SEC-level defender. So he's trying to find the minutes, find the pieces, and, well, I get this, but I'm giving up this. And you could just tell in the way that he was communicating with us last night that it's really bothering him to this point that they're 1-3 once again in conference play.
Yeah, and, it's got to go on the road and steal one now. That's what Nolan always said. And, I don't know whether you're stealing one at Vanderbilt, but they're in a position where they need to win Saturday, and there's just no other way to look at it. And they will figure out, what's the best way to play. I mean, I think Davis played an awesome game last night. He, maybe didn't shoot it the way you wanted in the first half, but they were tied at halftime. That didn't hurt. He at least stayed even with the best player in the country, Brandon Miller, as far as his offense and what he gave up. I always talk to Marvin Delph, and he's like, outscored my man. Of course, they didn't ever put him on the best defender. Boothead and Sydney were covering the best guy.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Outscored my man. I've never heard that before.
Well, Marvin always said, if everybody outscores their man, you win every time.
Yeah. That's I thought they had some good interior passing last night. Listen, I try to be positive, and y'all know I get frustrated after Razorback basketball and really any loss. But I mean, I thought last night there were some times where you saw some really good passing, especially inside the paint, Clay.
Ty, they were virtually dead even with about 5 minutes to go, and Bama hit a stretch where they hit some shots. But I think they were 2 down. They'd climb back in it. That's right where you want to be against, top 4 team on your home court. You traded punches with them, and you're right there, and they had a little more at the end.
Yeah. Jalen Graham showed you that he still has a little more. He has 16 points last night. A guy that offensively, no one's ever questioned his offensive skill. It's defensively the inefficiencies that he showed in times that have him off the floor. I wonder if he can, because we know he can put it together offensively, but Clay, can he do enough on defense to show this coaching staff that he deserves more minutes, not just in every other game, but like consistently night after night?
I thought he played with great effort on both ends of the floor. Left his man late in the game that cost him a 3. But I thought he battled for rebounds. He did a lot of things that you put in the plus column. And so that was positive, and I bet he gets more minutes. He might be, one of those guys that you say, well, where do they find something? He could be that.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet Online, where the game starts.